please?
Hey, I'm going to tell you some facts about me. Now, normally when Suga, how could I trust that I would? Hey guys. Okay, so I am going to be taking you to a particular park, and no, it isn't my favorite park. And I'm not going for exercise, even though I'm going to be getting some, but I'm going to show you something completely different, or at least give you a story about this place. So let's go on ahead and get going, shall we? Okay, so we are here now, and as you can see, I have got my Jesus cap. And by the way, I custom make these caps. If anybody would ever be interested, I would custom make a cap for you. I do have limits on what I may paint, but on the whole part, as long as it's decent, I am more happy to do so. And I would charge $15. That includes the cost of the hat, the cost of the paints that I would have to use, and I cover the shipping and handling. So all you gotta do is just let me know in the comments below that you're interested, and if so, I will give you my email so that you can contact me with a little bit more information about what you would like. So, small little commercial of my own. Anyway, I'm going to show you a certain point where it really all started to happen. So let's go on ahead and get started on this little journey, and let me show you around. Okay, so I'm currently on the trail, and this used to be my favorite park. I used to walk this constantly back in 16 after we had just moved here. This was my regular every evening, and I ended up losing a lot of weight here. I had gotten to around 200 pounds or so from like maybe 216, something like that. That was after I had dropped from 232, which was my largest. I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks around here. As you can see, it kind of looks dead, like almost forbearing. It doesn't have the beauty that the park that I go to has. And you know, it's odd. It could be maybe because this place floods easily, because it does. During the rain season in spring, when the lake rises to flood point, yeah, this gets flooded. And it gets to a point that you can't even come through it because it's a muddy mess. Did you hear that? Probably was a squirrel. There's lots of squirrels here. There also used to be a family of deer. I don't know if there is now. Now, there actually used to be a smaller part of this park. It ran out that way. Let me show you. It ran out along that way. And I had actually found a bridge, but it's like grown up around there and beyond it. So maybe at one time it was an actual trail, but it isn't now. More than likely because that right there, that's part of the creek, which is now dried up because we're in the dry season right now. But during flood season, that flows heavy. Let's go on ahead and get started. Now, my story isn't this part of the trail. Believe it or not, I've never really had an experience through here. But I am going to show you where I have. So let me share with you the different things that happened to me while I was here. As I'd said, I'd walked this place a lot back in 2016. A lot. Almost every evening I would leave about 5 o'clock when it would start cooling down and go walking. And I would walk every bit of this. I was averaging around 5 miles or so. This is like a 5 point something altogether round trip. And you could make it longer if you double back on some things, you know. But never had any problems about the park. I enjoyed the hikes and everything. It was good and getting great workouts, and even was strong enough that I could do a little bit of jogging on this trail. And then one day it happened. Now, there'd been times that I felt like maybe possibly there was somebody behind me, somebody walking. And you know, that's not uncommon. You can sometimes feel like that, and you look around, there's nobody, right? But on occasion I did. I felt like somebody was following. And then I would just realize it was a squirrel scurrying up a tree, getting away from me, because I was startled, you know. Like, okay. But this particular time, I was listening to my music with earphones. And I'm going to tell you right now, what I heard had nothing to do with the music I was listening to. The sound I heard is not in the music. It had sounded like somebody went flying by me on a bicycle. The sound of rustling leaves and the spinning wheels going right by me. And I heard that over top of my earphones and the music. Now, I don't blast my earphones. I don't. I keep it at a comfortable level because, you know, I value the hearing I do have. And so I quickly spun around and I looked. I looked all around me, a complete 360, and there was nobody. Nobody. When we get to that point, I'll show you where it was. That was my first experience. I had tried to look up the history about this park, and I never could find anything on it. The most I came up with was that at one time there was a golf course here, but that's all. So I have no history on the place whatsoever. Nothing to explain what I had experienced. And I don't know if there's anybody else who ever experienced anything here. Because for one, I don't know anybody. And for two, I don't talk to anybody because I don't know anybody. So a little hard to find out things, But across the lake, across the freeway, on the opposite side is another park. And there was a murder there. There was 2 girls and a boy found. Apparently one person went on a killing spree or something. Maybe the 2 girls and the boy was just there camping for the night or something. Who knows? But their bodies were found at the park. It's across this lake, across the freeway. I tried to find, because supposedly there's a hiking trail over there. I tried to find it. I was going to do a review on that park. I didn't find the trail. And I really didn't exactly want to stay there and look for it. It didn't look all that interesting to begin with. Now, I don't have a problem with places where there was a murder. I don't. That place just didn't look interesting and I couldn't find the trail. And I'm not going to go back to try to find it. I just heard something. Kind of sounded like talking. There are people who walks here. Never when you're recording, right? Let's go on. That is odd. How that tree kind of settled after they cut it up. Wow. I just saw something out of my side view. Like went through there and kind of disappeared. And it wasn't a squirrel, because I would have heard the rattling of the leaves in the branches. Maybe it was the twitching of the shadows in the wind. That could be. Okay, we are now on what I call the second part of the park, the second half. And it was right in this area that I heard that bike buzz right by me while I was listening on my headphones. Like I said, the music I had on didn't have this particular sound. And I've got a very good set of headphones. So there is no way I could have heard a bicyclist buzz by me. What can I say? Okay, so like it was right. I was walking in this direction and out of this trail, and I heard with the twirling of the wheels and the rustling of the leaves. I heard it even though I had the earmuffs on. Well, let me show you the area. So it was in here. Over there's the dry creek bed. And there's a pool of water there. It's like it gets really deep there, but here it's all dried out. I was coming this way on the trail and not that way when I heard. And I'm serious, I mean, it sounded so real, I almost could have felt the wind go by me, but nobody was around anywhere. That was my first experience. So let's go on ahead and head over to the next area where I had some experience. I do want to take note that these trails are color-coded. Right now I'm on the red trail, and I hadn't experienced anything on the red trail except for that one thing that I told you about. Where the rest of the activity was on the green trail. That's where we're heading. I hear voices again. There could be some people hiking up this way. Yeah, I hear 2 voices. Okay, that's normal. You hear that? It might be the trees rubbing against each other in the breeze. But the thing is, it's not windy enough to really make them do that. It's weird. Once again, it sounded like somebody was following behind me. Somebody heavily stomping. And I'm going to show you this. As you can see, the trail goes up in a hill, in an angle. And you would have to take hard, heavy steps coming down that slope. I was already off of it. But it sounded like somebody coming down behind me with heavy steps down that slope. There isn't anybody around either way. I just heard a rustling. Possibly a squirrel. Let's go on. I just saw something go across my path, and it was no animal whatsoever. It was right across there. It wasn't an animal, and it sure wasn't the moving of the shadows. I'm getting some things going here. Well, I'm not getting them going, but I'm definitely experiencing some things. We're not even on the green trail yet. That's a change. Let's keep going. Alright. We are now on the green trail. And this upper part never really did bother me all that much. But there is a dead zone where it doesn't matter if you're on the phone or playing the radio, it goes silent. Literally. Let me go on ahead and share with you the story that led up to the particular instant that I'm going to be pointing out. On the red trail, on the first half, I passed this woman and her dog. Dog didn't have no problem. Went right past. Dog and the woman was fine, you know. Like normal. A dog that's well trained ignores everything around its surroundings and just goes on with the master. No problem. I'll share with you in a moment what happened afterwards. Just heard some snapping twigs. May not be anything. Let's continue. Okay. It was about here I had stopped to clean my glasses, And as I put my glasses back on, I saw something in the distance. Now either it's right here or it's around another bend that's similar to this one. I get the two mixed up because on this one I can't see where it winds down. But I'm going to walk on a little further and see if it's actually the next one, because like I said, I can't see the trail from this one. So I'll go see if it's the other one. It was this one. Anyway, I stopped to clean my glasses. Maybe I have got to find the exact spot because it was as plain as day. So let me backtrack here. There's another little curve up here. It might be where I seen it. Some of the curves are quite similar. I'll go over to this particular spot and see if it looks familiar. Sorry about that. No, it's not ringing a bell. I know for sure that I was on a straight stretch when I cleaned my glasses. So yeah, it's definitely on the other spot. So kind of sounded like someone with a water bottle. The stretch itself seemed like it was back there, but here's where I can see the other side of the trail a little. Anyway, there's one of these. I seriously believe that it was right there that I saw it. Seems like I remember it being right about in there. And I was way out there, but I could see it right in there. Over there it's way too dense. So anyway, whether or not I could even find it again, like I said, these curves all look similar. But what I saw in front of me after I put my glasses back on from cleaning them was what looked like old-fashioned white, something similar to Nike sneakers, the old-fashioned flat sneakers, the older ones, and white tube socks with the colored rings. Some of yous may not remember them because now the socks are solid colors, but back in the other days, in the 80s and stuff, there was tube socks that had different colored rings on them. And that's what it looked like somebody walking by in front on the other side of the trees on the trail, walking toward me. And so I stopped to wait, see if they showed up, and they didn't, so I continued on. And as I went around the curve to the stretch where I would have seen them, there was nobody. Nobody. But yet I saw the feet and the socks, and they were moving like the person was walking. Now let me move on to the spot where I share with you about the dog. Man, there was just something heavy that was around me. Something heavy, like a thump. Alright, let's move on. Now, I do want to mark that there's 2 park roads on this, okay? And there is the lake where people ride speedboats and stuff, and there is a highway. So yeah, there is a lot of din, and that's natural. And I certainly know what those noises are. So that never gives me any alarm. It's the sounds that aren't normal. I recognize the sounds of squirrels and cars and boats, jets, even trees smacking each other in the wind. It's the unfamiliar sounds that I don't know. There was just another sound. Almost sounded like metal bouncing. That might have had some light metal on the track or on it, you know, like maybe somebody with a trailer hauling aluminum tracks or something on it. Anyway, it's possible that somebody's got a trailer and they kind of hit a bump or something. So I'm excusing that. Okay, so like it was around through here, which actually it was a little further back that way, but not by much. I'm kind of missing it. But it was along through this way. I come across that woman and her dog again. And this time, the dog refused to get by me. Now, remember I had told you that when they passed me the first time, the dog had no problem. Went right by. No problem. This time, the dog was growling and whimpering at the same time and holding back on its harness, literally trying to get away from his mama. And eventually she got him to go by, just short of picking the little fella up and walking him by. She got him to go by, but boy, that dog was freaked out for some reason. And this was right after I had seen that supposed person walking by with just the feet in socks. Let's go on and I'll tell you what happened after that. And then right about here, I heard heavy breathing over top my shoulder in my left ear. And no, it wasn't me hearing myself. It was kind of like a hot breath. And I just knew that one of Satan's demons was following me. And that's the reason why that dog couldn't get past me. It sensed that spirit. At that point, I rebuked him and told him to leave me alone. I didn't hear his breath anymore. But when I came here to hike again a couple days later, I had another experience. Let's move on. Alright. It was around in this area. And I'll show you here. Across that way, I could make out through the trees a bike coming this way. Now there's a trail over there that I'll be getting on that heads on back out. But I saw the bike through the trees heading this way. And by the time I got a little closer where I would have seen the bike more, or where by this time the bike would have reached me, there wasn't a bike. After that, I didn't come back to this park for quite some time. For a very long time. It might have been close to a year, and I came back just to do some filming, and I'd refused to come to this park. And then when I came back again, I came back and done a live stream, hoping to catch something on the live stream with my viewers. Anyway, I didn't capture anything, but I really didn't take my time through it either. And so this is the first time I've been back. It has been over half a year, and I decided to come back and more thoroughly film this and give a better explanation of what happened and where, and maybe actually capture something. And all I've been getting is sounds and some visuals, but I haven't been able to catch anything on the video. Maybe if I would just stop and pan around for a little bit, let you see and wait. Maybe for some other time, right? When yous are ready and willing to watch a 40-minute video of just watching and rating, then that would be like the Ghost Hunters. Without commercials. But that's not what I'm doing right now. Yeah, who knows? I might capture something. I really didn't have any experiences the rest of the way out, just in that particular area. So I'm gonna let the video run facing forward, let you see a little bit, and I'm gonna be silent, and maybe you could capture some noises too. Now mind you, you will hear my feet. If you hear anything, please leave it in the comment below. Or if you spot something. That's just bird. And that's just me. the terrain changed. They had to reroute it. The flood ruined the original trail. The waters did flood again this year. They had to do some rerouting. There's a strange odor through here. No, it doesn't smell like dead. It's like a pungent vegetation. Strong, acidic, bitter, like smell. Almost similar to how Brussels sprouts taste in the center without their buttery coating. Alright, we passed it. Out that way used to be part of the park, and now it's no longer used because it is a flood zone. There's actually a picnic table out there, but most of the time it's sitting in the lake. Most of the time, except for when the lake is extremely low. You hear that? Cross between squeaking and a cat's meow. Let's go on. Good to see that they'd cut down the reeds. Could never see anything out here. They probably cut them down for the reason of the snakes. But like I said, it was flooded, so maybe the flood actually brought the reeds down. Either way, whatever the case, it makes it a lot easier to see where you're walking. Most green that's around here is either briars, vines, or poison ivy. Everything else is dead. That was me sighing. Once again, it sounded like someone was behind me. That's something that I had always heard here at this park. At any part of the trails. Oh, there's a dove. I don't even know if you can see it. There's a dove. I saw that. 2 doves. Beautiful. White-winged doves. 2 of them. Yeah, that's another thing about this place. It hardly ever has any hikers. You'll see more bikers than hikers. But being on a bike, you can buzz right through it, you know. Whereas at my favorite park, it stays busy constantly. Bikers, hikers, runners, joggers. All the time. Not here. Not here. Alright guys, I'm going to go on ahead and close this out. You've got to watch long enough. And like I said, I had never really experienced anything along this way. But if I happen to hear or see something, I'm going to be turning this video back on. So anyway guys, I appreciate you watching and hearing my story. Seeing the spots where I had the experiences, and I'll see you on the next video. Something just moved behind me.